This is really hard. Sometimes I'm not sure how to be helpful. I see you struggling, and I'm here, and I'm walking into it every day. I want you to know that I'm going to keep doing it, and that's really hard. There were times that I've made some mistakes, right? Start children off on that way, and start children off on the way they should go, and even when they will be on that path when they are old. Alignment of leadership, right? As parents, you are the center of the family. Okay, so there's lots of things that can get in the way of staying aligned, different parenting styles. Here's one of the challenges we have in my household. My wife has are you familiar with parenting styles? Permissive, authoritarian, authoritative. Okay, so permissive can be high nurture, low challenge. Okay, authoritarian, low nurture, high challenge. Right, you will do this because I said so. I don't care how you feel about it. Right, authoritative, high nurture, high challenge. Okay, my wife has a proclivity to lean away from authoritative to permissive, and mine is probably leaning more to the authoritarian sort of bent. And so what happens is our differences get exposed when we're not on the same page about something, right? So I will work to offset her permissiveness by laying down the law and laying it down hard, right? The foot is going down, right? And when she sees that, I'm being an unkind, uncaring father, right? So she's pulling more. I don't think that's a great idea. What do you think, kids? Oh boy, right? Game on. She doesn't really say that, but she wants to. That's our styles preventing us from aligning in our leadership, right? So what are parenting styles? How are they getting in the way? Personality, values, making sure that you're syncing up and you're managing the difference when you're not. And you may have to pause, and when you're aware of it as leaders, this happens a lot with parents in school districts right now, with school districts who are one-to-one technology, iPads and Chromebooks and that kind of thing, where parents are like, the school district is the bane of my existence, right? The school district's like, the parents are not helping their kids manage these devices responsibly, and we keep seeing evidence of that at school, right? So there's a breakdown in leadership between parents and school districts, right? So it's important that the leaders get on the same page. Hey, we want our kid to use this responsibly. We're having a hard time to get where the district's going. Can we figure out how to work together? Hey, mom and dad, I'm getting the sense that you're having a hard time at home managing this responsibly. How can we work together to help your kids actualize this device for their education and make sure they're using it responsibly? Okay, so getting leaders aligned. And resetting, take a pause. When to seek help. If there's ever a threat, if a kiddo says they want to hurt themselves in any way, as minor as it is, respond. Okay? It's a sign of some kind of distress. When you see your kiddo disappearing, when they're pulling away, when they're not involved, it's hard with COVID kind of waning and us entering back in. Many kids aren't sure how to enter back in. So as you see your kids struggle, if they're struggling to re-enter, be curious and perhaps pay attention. And then just as a leader, when you feel like something's going on for a kid, pay attention to that. Pay attention to that. And then if they have relational conflict, that teenage relational conflict is normal when there's not waning of it. So, where to seek help? Go to primary care physician. Start there. Explore. Talk to the school counselor. You have great pastoral staff here. Talk to your pastoral staff. Talk to somebody. I'm worried about my kid. Talk to somebody. A therapist. There are a lot of people out there who do what I do, who work with parents primarily with kids struggling. Right? It's about giving support and encouragement and guidance to parents. When a kiddo is struggling, a mom and dad is struggling too. Right? Name a time where your kiddo's been struggling where you haven't struggled. Right? Find support. It may be that family support may be of benefit, right? Because the message that a lot of people get with the focus on mental health right now is that you are the problem. Your mental health is the problem. And there is some value looking at that. And our mental health happens in relationship, is impacted by a relationship. So what are the dynamics going on in our family, in our friend groups, in our culture that are exacerbating vulnerabilities that I already have? Right? So it's possible that, well, it isn't just possible. There's a lot of research that says a family model of working with, whether it's a teen or whoever, that is beneficial to everybody. Okay? Finding a therapist, trust your instincts. If you're looking for a therapist for a kiddo in your life, part of what we want to know is how will you involve me as a leader here in working with this family? How are you going to involve me if you are a support person for a kiddo? How are they going to work with me? Are they going to sign releases of information? Or are they going to close off the therapy and isolate it to just the kid and them? That may not be helpful. So find out, are they willing to work with me? Are they willing to work with the people that my kids work with on a daily basis? And then make sure that if you are working with somebody for your kids, that they have a clear treatment plan. That they're working on something. It's not just going and talking. That they're supporting your kid and growing in some way. That there is challenge. Okay, one of the things that I think this field sometimes defers to too much is just the nurture. And people need a lot of that. We need a lot of that. Because we often don't experience it, especially if we're really cantankerous on the outside, as we can be when we're in adolescence. We don't experience a lot of nurture. That is needed. And it's insufficient to help us grow. So a therapist who won't challenge is likely not going to be a good fit. I told you that we could go up until the Vikings game, but I was teasing because that's tomorrow, and I did know that. So I was here with you guys till noon today. I do want to be sensitive to those. Let's see, who does play the game? Saints, right? Anybody Saints fans? No Saints fans. So I will stick around for a little bit with questions. Our practice is traverse counseling and consulting. We're way over on the other side of town, over in St. Louis Park. But this is our passion, you guys, supporting parents and families and kids. This is our passion. So if we can be a support in some way, I'm happy to do that. Otherwise, we've got a couple other times that we're going to be back.
You'll be back in October, on October 16th, to talk about parent leading well in the conflicted culture, and then back in November talking about all things digital. So suppose if you also have questions for Matt ahead of those times, he's here. So thank you so much for being here today. Can you thank All right, we will get these slides out to you in the next week or so. Thanks so much for being here. Have a good one.